Hey y'all, Peter here this afternoon. A wonderful rainy Sunday in Atlanta. Got a couple things I'm going to be working on this week, and one of the first things I want to be tackling on this car, not just for this channel, but something that's plagued this car throughout the course of my ownership with it, has been the serpentine belt. I've been fighting tension issues and, had lost a couple of belts, snapped a few, shredded a couple, lost some tensioners. I mean, it's been a job trying to get this thing to stay right. So one of the problems I'd encountered through fighting with this tension setup is, I've replaced the tensioners on it, and also have had an issue where a tensioner pulley that was actually, I think had less than 50 miles on it, absolutely shredded. And when I say shredded, I mean literally the bearing pack, which still works just fine, as you can tell. The whole assembly got superheated and fell right apart. Ended up shredding a belt in the process, and of course, bad things were set to happen. But luckily, I was only going about 20 miles an hour on a country road when it happened, and was able to shut the car off, pull off into a parking lot without power steering or any of the other accessories. But when I was in that pinch, ended up having to replace it on the spot. And the only parts store that had something, of course, on a Sunday was actually a little bit of an oversized pulley for the earlier Fox body Mustangs, rather than earlier 302 Fords. So it bolted up to the tensioner, but from my understanding, it's still not quite the correct pulley. And it's a slightly different diameter, and I'll show you the differences in those diameters between this failed pulley and the one that's currently on the car. But to kind of rectify that situation, one thing I did was acquired a new tensioner pulley, and what we have is a Steeda billet pulley assembly that I ordered through Summit. So being in Atlanta, I'm extremely blessed to have Summit Racing's McDonough location less than an hour from my house. And so even if I don't shoot down there, usually if I order something on a Wednesday at midnight when I'm thrashing, it'll be at my doorstep Friday, and that was the case with this part. So we're going to be installing that piece on the current tensioner and going from there. Alright, so as you can see, this is our current configuration set up for the car. We have air conditioning up here, we have our power steering pump down here, our water pump, crank dampener, which is currently mounted to an ATI super dampener. We have ourselves a part store tensioner here, and we have an alternator. So, from a factory perspective, the only thing that is missing right now would be a smog pump that goes right about there. So, one of the guys I talked to had made a comment saying that, well, you have the smog pump that helps keep proper tension on the belt as a whole. And through the course of discussing that, we've noticed that we do have a little bit of a tension slack right in here. This is that long run. There's supposed to be another pulley that sits right here. And Ford Performance sells an idler delete pulley that mounts in place of that smog pump, and his suggestion was that we run that. So that's going to be something that we're probably going to need to acquire in order to help rule this thing out. But you can tell, just looking at it right now, my tensioner's about maxed out, and the belt we are running is the called out belt for this length on this configuration. So we got a little bit of work ahead of us and some digging to do, but we're going to get to the bottom of this one. Alright, so on initial inspection, we've got this billet Steeda unit that, while it's a little bit more pricey, you can see right out the gate, the reason why. It's a more high quality machine piece as opposed to this plastic unit, but, one thing I noticed right away, snap ring. Keeps that bearing pack in place so that way, that doesn't just happen when you're driving down the road. But as far as measurement wise, we see that this one is for an 85-93 Fox body, which is what we're working with. So let's just take a measurement just for the sake of science. And we can see the disc comes right out to about 3 inches and maybe a tenth, so just a hair over 3 inches. making sure we actually measure out the surface where the belt actually comes in contact with the part. We're getting right at about 3 inches. So, same measurement size there. As opposed to the existing unit on the car, which if I had to guess, is going to be about a 1/4 inch or more. Maybe more. Oh, wow, yeah. So, you can see the differences right there. That's almost 3.5 inches in difference. So, you're talking a 1/2 inch overall diameter between the pulley that's on there now and the Steeda unit that is going to be getting replaced on there. So we're going to work on getting these little bits swapped out and start troubleshooting our tension issue from there. Alright, so first thing we're going to want to do to change out this pulley is remove the original belt. Bear in mind, this is a left-hand thread, and the way you set the tension on this is not to turn it to the right. So you're going to have to go against your conventional righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Lift up that way, slip your belt off, tension should go down. And notice I really did not go much further because of how close we already are on being maxed out. So go ahead and slip your belt down. We're just going to let it hang for the time being. And it may wind up being the same belt to go back on there, but for right now, we're just worried about changing out this pulley. Alright, pulley looks like it's in good shape. Tension mounting surface looks like it's also in good shape. So we're going to keep on moving forward with the install. So one thing I noticed right away is that this lip edge here, you see, it's kind of coming into contact with some of these lightning holes and machining holes on the back side here. So we're going to need to figure out a way to either shave this edge down a little bit or see if there's another kind of washer that's supposed to get installed along with this pulley assembly. So hit a little bit of a slowdown spot with the pulley install. So reached out to Steeda and asked them about if they'd ever had anybody reporting any of these kind of chafe issues, and they said that they've designed it to be used with the OEM tensioners. So with this being a part store tensioner, it's inconclusive right at the moment, but they're going to actually go and get a part store tensioner and check it against their existing pulleys to see if there's any kind of an issue. And, the moral of the story here with that is that's what you get when you buy from an established and reputable brand that actually stands behind their product, instead of just buying your crap off Amazon. When you're buying it from a vendor that they're just drop shipping stuff from whoever, and it's all this Chinese made crap. And, those guys they don't have your interest in heart about selling you a quality part, or even if your car runs at the end of the day. So, I'm not sitting here to, hype up Steeda. This is actually the first part of theirs I've ever bought. And again, I didn't even buy it directly from them. I bought it off of Summit. And didn't matter to them because, hey, it's their product, it's their name, they care, and they want to make sure that it's working right. So they're going to go back and do a little bit of analysis, and have said they're going to get back with me on it. And, for now, we're hitting a little bit of a standstill. I'm not going to go ahead and ruin a nice new pulley over something like that. So, or especially when I suspect the issue is with the tensioner itself. So we got plenty of other things that we got to be working on, but for right now, just at least wanted to cap off, and we'll circle back and get this install finished up when it's ready.